Hey, if you just want the review, skip to this time frame. But if you have got a minute, let me introduce you to Rose. She's a next level racing GT track and has been my loyal companion for years. She's scratched, dinged, and the seat has definitely seen more office work and crisscross setting than racing. Basically, she's carried me through gaming, research, naps, and watching movies. But here's the thing, I am not big on change. When I find something I like, I stick with it, even when a newer model comes out, which is why I never wanted to replace Rose. But curiosity got the better of me. I kept seeing NLR's new aluminium rigs on Instagram and wondered if they were a real upgrade. So I reached out and they sent me this, an FGT Elite and an ERS5 seat. It's a 4080 profile rig that sits between the top of the line FGT Elite and the GT Elite. Paired with an ERS5 seat, this rig has been my test bench for the past 2 months. Me and my wife have put it through everything: trucking, rallying, office work, and even naps. Today we'll find out if it is truly an upgrade over Rose. Some very clever and thoughtful design choices have been made to make sure that the assembly and adjustability would be as easy as possible. I did the assembly off camera, so if you need any assistance, NLR's page has a full-blown assembly video. Starting with the strengths of this rig, despite these profiles being quite long, they have very little side-to-side play. Unless you're deliberately shaking it, there's barely any movement. When gaming, these profiles do vibrate, but not so much that you would be distracted. I've only noticed the vibrations when using a front mount. Bottom mounting does not vibrate the rig as much. Next up, the pedal deck. Sometimes these can develop a creak over time, but after 2 months, this one hasn't. Fingers crossed. My GT track never creaked, so I'm confident this one will hold up. And let me just say, I'm fond of this design. On older rigs like the GT track, the tray had fixed cutouts, and sometimes your pedal just wouldn't line up with the holes. This new design solves that by giving you 2 large adjustable panels with wide cutouts. Theoretically, I cannot think of any pedal set that wouldn't fit here. Adjustment is also easier. Because this is an FGT hybrid, the deck can move higher than you would expect, even in GT position. Sliding it back and forth or switching between GT and Formula setup is straightforward and quick. Now, this seat. It's really something. I even made a little clip of it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The first thing I wanted to test was the fabric, which is why I waited 2 months to make this video. I live in a tropical country and sweat can absolutely ruin this fabric. On GT Racer, the fabric was toast within 2 weeks, but the ERS5 is a totally different story. Most of the area you actually sit on is suede and it has held up beautifully. The rest is PU leather with red stitching. And together all of it feels like higher quality materials have been picked to craft it. Honestly, I have always preferred perforated leather seat, but this one changed my mind. Comfort-wise, it's a step up from my GT track seat. It is reclinable and comes with 2 levers, one on each side because reclinable seats tend to develop a bit of play over time. My GT track seat developed some after years of use, but the ERS5 still feels solid, even under heavy braking. Just be careful when adjusting the recline, the seat snaps forward aggressively. I recommend not doing this unless you want a congratulatory pat on the back after a podium. Ergonomics are excellent. With side brackets, you can adjust height and angle for GT or Formula seating, something my GT track cannot do. Lumbar support is good, and despite my long legs and shorter torso, I never had back pain even in longer sessions. Now for the quirks. Because the recline angle is limited, it makes sleeping on it a bit difficult. I've tried and woken up with sore shoulders because of the frame. It's hard and the foam does not help much. For naps, the GT track comes out ahead as it can be reclined to near 180 degrees, and I've comfortably slept on it multiple times. There's no frame here, only sponge. On the flip side, if you're like me and occasionally sit crisscross applesauce, the ERS5 is actually more comfortable. No thigh restrictions like that on the GT track. Overall, despite not being perforated or obviously breathable, this seat surprised me. It's sturdy, it's comfortable, it handles sweat well, and I genuinely enjoyed using it over the past 2 months. Now onto the stuff which I liked and didn't. Number 1, the manual. I have always loved NLR's manual. They are high quality with proper diagrams and instructions. They do a fantastic job at explaining how to assemble the rig and which bolt type goes where. Alongside all of this, there is a QR that you can scan which will take you directly to the assembly video. Number 2, this strip. This goes between the profiles to make sure the profiles don't get scratched. It's a good looking rig, and to ensure its pristinity... pristineness? To ensure it remains pristine, they have added this. Mine of course didn't last long as I have to constantly switch between front and bottom mount, but yours will. Number 3, these markings to make sure you're mounting and adjusting things right. It's stuff like this which really shows that a manufacturer cares about the user. And speaking of tiny things, you get this little water level to make sure what you mounted is leveled properly. Number 4, the feet. They are great and are height adjustable. I'm soon going to replace them with wheels, but despite their size, they have had no problem supporting the entire weight. I've even dragged this rig multiple times, hoping something would happen to them, but nothing did. Number 5, the assembly. It was super easy and it took me roughly 2.5 hours to fully build it. Number 6, I know this is not something which is extraordinary, but the T-nuts are great. They are spring ball loaded and the spring is quite firm. Now here's something you might not like. The profiles are angled, and since the pedal deck mounts to them, you'll probably spend some time fine-tuning the position. Also, the higher you raise the wheelbase deck, the further forward it moves. Personally, I've had no problem with this as I'm used to an angled column, but it's worth noting. So, is it an upgrade over Rose? Absolutely. She will always have a place in my heart. She is reliable, simple, and has served me well. But this is on a whole another level. It is sturdier, more versatile, easier to adjust, and paired with the ARS5, it's just a more comfortable experience all around. That does not mean Rose is obsolete. If you already own one and you're happy, stick with it. But if you're looking for your next rig, or you've been wondering if aluminium profile actually makes a difference, then yes, this is a clear step up. Rose has been dependable. This is dependable and refined. And in my opinion, that is what makes it a true upgrade. That's been it. I've been the Napman, and may the downforce be with you.